Hey, Carl, now that Pulsar Security is going to be sponsoring the podcast directly, you want to hear the ad copy that we came up with?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, get ready for this. In a world full of security challenges.
No. We can't say in a world.
Come on, that sounds perfect.
Like
you think we should?
It's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
You
cliche.
think we should leave it open for services on Mars? Is that what you're saying? I mean,
you can't.
Okay.
All right, just go ahead and read the rest of it.
Can I say in a world or no?
Go for it. I don't care.
In a world full of security challenges, trust is everything.
Well, that's true.
At Pulsar Security, we are enabling organizations to thrive safely in an ever-changing digital world.
Yeah.
Our experts conduct cutting-edge cybersecurity services, ensuring your business stays one step ahead of threats.
All good.
Experience peace of mind as we deliver robust solutions tailored to your needs. Your security is our priority. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Choose Pulsar Security for a safer tomorrow. Visit us at pulsarsecurity.com. Empower your digital journey with confidence. Security starts here.
Okay. I like everything but
Okay.
in a world.
It worked for Batman.
I do like to
This
dress
is
dark and in
serious.
hoodies.
Now, this is serious stuff here, man. You're talking about keeping companies
We
safe.
do. Yeah, we are talking about that.
Like
don't wanna
cyber superheroes. Come on, Carl.
Conjure up images of the predator, you know?
Well, we should have done this from the start. So now we are officially sponsoring Pulse Security this week by Pulsar Security.
Well, good luck with your ad.
Thanks.
So, Patrick, I don't know, is it in New Hampshire, are things like still wicked expensive, like everyday items?
I mean, inflation's been seen amongst things like, foods and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Because, when I was a kid, I could walk into a gas station with $1 and walk out with 2 or 3 candy bars. And now, they have cameras everywhere, man. It's impossible. All right, guys, this is going to be a short and sweet one, but the clickbait is pretty nasty. So we'll get to that later. Let's talk about Mozilla. 2 Firefox zero-day bugs fixed.
So this is great stuff because this was pwn-owned. This means that it wasn't the hackers hacking and victimizing that found it. It was hackers working for prize money that found it. And that's a much better way for us to discover this stuff.
And that's what pwn to own is. They basically pay for 0 days.
Well, it's like an open hackathon.
Yeah.
When I first heard of hackathon, that's what I thought they were, but they mean something else in developer speak.
Yeah.
But basically, this is Mozilla saying, hey, we invite people in to try to help us find security vulnerabilities, and there's cash prizes.
Nice.
Yeah. And like something like this, which is a 0 day, like
unknown
on the dark web, would sell for probably 4 times what it sells for at pwn-down, right?
What
So
did,
if you
what did it
if
sell
you're
for?
in it,
100,000,
100 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, you could pull anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million for a really serious 0 day.
Jeez,
and we're going to talk about the number of 0 days.
There's a thing the government makes called laws.
And the thing we have ethics.
And there's these things that the police carry called guns.
So wait a minute. I thought it's not legit to find bugs.
It is.
I thought that's what you guys do.
No. It's legit, but
to
it's not
sell
legit
them.
to then sell them to other countries as spying tools.
No. I'm talking about why aren't you doing it for pwn to own?
Oh. So that's a good question. So you see these researchers come out with these exploits. It's like, oh my God, they just got 100 grand. Like, that's awesome. Right?
Yeah.
But that researcher probably worked on this particular exploit for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Not enough zeros is the answer.
Yeah. Really, they do this because
you guys
it
are
gives them
so
a lot of-
elitist. You guys are so like Ivory Tower. Most people would kill to make 100 grand in 6 months.
I don't even get out of bed for 100 grand.
I can't pay.
That's crazy.
I can't pay the bills with these guys.
How am I going to keep up my beautiful property and stockpile my Tomahawk cruise missiles in
You
my
know how much
garage?
Tomahawk costs?
bars are
They
gold.
cost millions.
Do you know how much?
You know how many
much a
pwn
Tomahawk costs?
owns I got to solve to get a Tomahawk?
Just
on.
ammo for regular guns is expensive nowadays.
Oh, that was
Actually, there has been a lot of inflation in ammo. but that's another story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good to know. So it's weird. Well, it's interesting. So Pwn to Own, there are usually vendors there who are paying to have hackers come up with an exploit for their software, hardware. We've seen a number of them. I don't think we have any stories about them this week, but there's actually quite a bit of money was paid out Pwn to Own for Tesla over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
Lots of exploits in the CAN bus.
And without giving much detail, we've brought in groups like this to hack things that we've secured or that we've had clients who are like, look, we need this to be as secure as humanly possible. We're willing to pay you guys, but we need like double reassurances. So we brought in teams to hack stuff and say, we think this is secure, but we need, like, we're going to put up $100,000 to see if you can find anything. And they're very helpful. They find a lot of avenues of attack that, even if you have a great team, there's just so many different ways to attack things, so many ways to skin a cat. Yeah. It's good to have other people thinking about it.
Cool.
Do people really skin cats?
No.
Anyways, so
they don't swing them either.
I know, right? Can't swing a cat. So Pwn to Own is a kind of a great sort of competition for hackers to become sort of the super elite, well-known name in a particular like technology, whether it's a browser, whether it's you're the Tesla hacking guy, whatever it may be. But then vendors get the benefit of having really elite hackers breaking into their stuff and then not selling it on the dark web. I know one of the teams was awarded $3.5 million and 2 Tesla Model 3 cars in their Pwn to Own hacking competitions. So Tesla actually gives away a Model 3 to the top team that breaks into the Teslas.
This is a great way for people to prove themselves to get onto a team like ours and get on into the right forums and get into the wrong forums, depending on which side you're on. You know, it's a world where we know a lot of people. So Carl, you and I were both regional directors for a long time, 20 years. We know a lot of the same people. Dwayne knows a lot of those same people.
Yeah.
If you look at the AI and development groups at Microsoft, we know most of those people. Well, the same thing holds true in the hacking world. We just don't use our real names because we don't trust each other. So Dwayne knows like lots and lots of really scary people, but we don't know if they're fully safe or not. So
I hope you don't talk to him on the phone, Patrick, because your voice is very unique.
And my phone is in lockdown mode, so I'm not afraid.
No,
I'm not
afraid. But if they listen to the podcast, they're like, that guy, oh, that's the mad hacker.
You come to my house, and I'll have a nice place for to bury you.
Oof.
All right, so calls to action for those who use Firefox. Patch it, I guess.
Definitely patch. There's nothing in the wild with this. I don't think a lot of hacking organizations are going to go after this hard.
Okay.
Though it's an interesting, I think it's 2 exploits that can be parlayed into an RCE, right, Dwayne? So that means.
Yep. Yeah. And most people kick off when they do an RCE, kick off calc. Like calculators, like the number one program that they kick off just to prove that they were able to run something. And there's an image here of calculator popped up
outside the sandbox. So yes, you should patch. There's no, I don't know of any, they didn't publish an exploit. So people would have to go back and figure out how to do this themselves. Will it be in the arsenal of hackers in a year? Absolutely.
Well, that's a good point. So Pwn to Own, the researchers that find and discover bugs go into a disclosure room with the vendor, disclose the bug, show them how they did it and that sort of stuff. And then it is locked until the vendor pays them. And then the researcher can't announce what the exploit was until it's been patched.
Until it's fixed.
So it's really kind of a great secure thing. But one of the things I will tell you is they do announce enough. So this one says, oh, well, this is a Firefox out of bounds write flaw, right? So if you're a hacker and you're trying to break into something and you're looking for a 0 day, lots of time is spent on finding if something is possible, not trying to say, oh, well, I know this is already possible. Let me figure out the path.
Right.
So this does give the risk of
shortens the timetable.
Security or hackers out there going, oh, well, we know this is possible now. Let's keep digging in this particular area. But usually the vendors have a patch before then.
So it's interesting when I Googled Pwn to Own and I found the Wikipedia page from which all other links are there. One of the things came back with a French site, .fr, but it's own to pwn.
What?
So if you're French, you do it backwards. First you own it, then you pwn it.
All right. Yeah, exactly. That's the safe way to do it, kids.
Yeah. Okay. Shopify is in the news. Do you know Shopify? It's it's a popular shopping cart solution plugin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it a WordPress plugin?
No, but it's kind of on that ilk. So
Or it has plugins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shopify has plugins, and those plugins are written by third-party vendors. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Right.
Hilarity ensues.
So a vast amount of sensitive data of unsuspecting shoppers was exposed to threat actors by the e-commerce giant's plugin developer, with millions of orders being leaked.
Oof.
Yeah, I think they're making it sound like there's only one plugin developer. I believe there's many plugins for Shopify, and that this is just one of the major ones. So, is it Shopify doing it? No, their name's kind of getting dragged, but their supply chain, their partners, dropped the ball on this one.
So apparently the two plugins are Eco Returns for AI-powered returns.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a minute. And Wise Me, WYSEME, to acquire Wise Me, Lord, to
Why is they
acquire
hacking me?
To acquire top shoppers, and other plugins that are made by SAARA. I guess this is the company that made these two. EcoShip for discounted shipping, and Sales GPT, an AI e-commerce chatbot. Okay.
Yeah. It's all ecosystem. It's all pipeline vendors.
Yeah.
They're trying to add value, and sometimes the value's to the hackers.
So I'm looking to see what was leaked: customer names, email addresses, phone numbers, addresses, information about ordered items, order tracking numbers and leaks, IP addresses, user agents. And here's the thing: partial payment information. So what does that mean? Like last 4 digits of credit card or something?
Yeah. But even without that, I mean, we all look at that. What could Dwayne do with your recent shopping?
Well, Dwayne could do something with my birthday. So,
yeah, but with your recent shopping, we say, hey, we know you ordered this thing recently that you would think, well, the vendor's the only one that would know that.
Right.
And so it lowers the barrier for spear phishing.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something going on. You bought this from this vendor at this time for this amount, and the tax was calculated incorrectly, and we charged you, and it's about to hit your credit card. Click this button and we'll reverse the taxes.
Click this button and we'll reverse. Yeah, exactly. I've gotten emails like that, so I know that I've been pwned some way.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
And it's interesting. They say not sensitive data, but if you look in here, it says referring site, and then they have what the purchase was, obviously, like a neutral animal V-neck tacchini, whatever that is. And then, but then they also have order status URL, and then there's an authentication key associated with it. So there's some sensitive, interesting data in there, but this distills down to somebody not configured this properly.
Yeah.
Because there was an open database, although the technology vendor said there was a password on it. Not a strong password necessarily, but a password. Not a non-default password, but a password, right? So they had a password on the database, although apparently hackers magically got by that, so it wasn't probably very strong.
Wait a minute. You said it wasn't a non-default.
No.
So
they said there was a password. No, they said there was a password, but they didn't say it was. They didn't say that it wasn't default. They didn't say that it could have been the default password. Could have been database, right? And they were like, but there was a password. It's like, okay. Right? Yeah. Or the database password could have been the name of the company, right? And they're like, well, there was a password, right? So just saying there's a password is not very useful.
Yeah.
Because clearly it was in a list of some sort.
So the question I have is, was somebody who has bought something from a site that uses Shopify, would they know by using the site that it uses Shopify? Nope. It's all back-end stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's transparent.
So they're not going to get an email from Shopify.com or whatever. Yeah.
They're going to get an email from Dwayne.
Listen, I know. If you're going to purchase something on the internet, just be careful. Yeah. Even if you think it came from the store you bought it from. For me, I won't click on an order status that comes to my email. I will go to the site and log in with my account.
Right. Now, if you order something and 2 minutes later you get an email in your inbox, chances are it's legit. Because you'd have to have somebody very speedy that's looking for you.
Chances are. But the problem is, if your mailbox has been breached, In the power of AI, I may be able to slip something into a valid email.
And we've seen that with business email compromise.
Okay, now we're talking about edge cases.
Right.
What'd you say, Dwayne? You've seen it?
Yeah, but that's an edge case. We've seen it.
We've seen this with what's called business email compromise, where a hacker will sit in your email for months waiting for a purchase order to come through. Like you're talking to a vendor where you're going to pay them. And the moment you mention payment, they then kill all the emails going out to the vendor and start replying.
Wow.
Right. So it has happened. There are chances where you're literally mid conversation with the vendor and then, it just
But somebody's really got to have it out for you personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have to be in your mailbox, basically.
Yeah. Right.
But if Grandma Franklin is ordering vitamins, chances are
okay.
She's probably okay. Yeah. All right.
I mean, we take risks. Actually, you brought up a very important point. Let's just stick on this for one more minute. We take risks by using anything. You drive a car, you take a risk. You get on a plane, you take a risk. You go for a walk, you take a risk.
You listen to the show, you take a risk.
You might laugh a little too much.
Big risk.
So that's necessary. We can't eliminate all risk, but you should understand the risk. And that's what's missing. That's what we're really trying to get to, is a lot of people don't even understand that there is a risk.
Right.
And we're trying to get that.
So anytime you're presented with an email, you might think, what are the chances that this is legit? Which is a calculus you have to make in the moment. Yeah. Okay, so be careful of those emails. Don't click on links. Let's talk about CISA. CISA we talked about last week as being hacked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is them as an agency keeping us informed.
Right.
This is CISA saying that they've seen things actively exploiting a remote code execution, RCE, that affects SharePoint. I don't use SharePoint. We have SharePoint. We have licenses to it. It's so complicated. There are so many places for things to go wrong.
Yeah, security-wise.
I don't trust those systems.
There are a lot of people that use SharePoint, though. Yeah.
No, and I don't recommend it.
I don't either.
So this is another...
Friends don't let friends.
This is another pwn to own, by the way. So this was Star Labs.
Oh, nice.
Came out with this...
SharePoint to me is like when someone said, let's take a file system and a web server and combine them.
Right. What could go wrong?
Secure. I'm sure that will make them more secure somehow. The security vulnerabilities will cancel them out.
Yeah. Well, and this particular exploit on this SharePoint server, there are two of them in here. And both of them were dubbed with CVEs actually in 2023. So this is last year exploits.
I didn't realize this was pwn to own. So that means Microsoft paid for these exploits and now they're getting bad press for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So what's interesting about this one is there's two exploits. One of them CVE 2023-24955. SharePoint server vulnerability enables an authenticated attacker with site owner privileges to execute code. So you're okay, cool. Who cares, right? I log into SharePoint as an admin and I can run code. Well, yeah, of course I can do that, right? It's tricky. Don't get me wrong. There are a couple hoops you need to jump through to get it to actually run code on the SharePoint server, but you're logged in as a site admin. So of course. Then the next exploit that came out was, by the way, this exploit allows a remote attacker to gain admin privileges on a vulnerable server without actually requiring authentication. You go, okay, put those two together and chain them. And now at this point, you have unauthenticated attackers being able to run any code they want on your SharePoint server.
Not good.
So this one here is definitely, if you have a SharePoint server that you maintain, go patch it.
Take it down. No, take it down.
Just take it down. Format it.
Take it down.
Take it down.
So if we look for an analogy in the real world, owning a car is a big responsibility. There's a lot that goes into it, but you go into it with your eyes wide open. There's a lot that can go on. You got to do maintenance. You got to get it registered. You got to get inspected, all those things, but you do it because you want to. SharePoint's kind of like that. It's once you get in it, it's a file system linked to the web. Again, like it's asking for trouble. And so that doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. It's just that you have to have your eyes wide open. I don't think it's a good idea to have SharePoint accessible over the internet. And I know that's why a lot of people want to use it. But if you have it behind a VPN, I think that's a better solution. But nobody does it that way.
Yeah.
Almost nobody does it that way.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Well, there you go.
Soapbox.
There you go. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these very important messages. So you're listening to Security This Week. I'm Carl Franklin. That's Patrick Hines, and that's Dwayne LaFlotte. And man, this has been a weird week. A weird, wild stuff. Yeah. Spyware vendors, Google says, behind 50% of 0 days exploited in 2023. Wow.
Yeah, and we saw the Pwn to Own event, right? Which actually just had rounded out last week. And, you know, you see all of these teams coming up with 0 days. And for those who haven't been listening, a 0 day is something that there's no patch for. Nobody's seen it before. It's a brand new exploit that would work on any device, patched or not, in the wild. And with Pwn to Own, they find a bunch of 0 days and they turn them in. But 0 days are kind of like finding gold at the end of the rainbow. It's hard. Like there's not, oh my gosh, you're just tripping over 0 days all the time. Most commercial grade software, you're lucky if you find a few, maybe one or two, and it gets even more complicated as it goes. So I would be surprised if something like even Pwn to Own comes out with more than 20 0 days, and like we had just talked about, those might be worth millions of dollars each. What's weird is looking at the statistics on 0 day exploits. In 2019, you had about 33 of them. Okay. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's about right. Pwn to Own, like I said, may come out with about 20. 2020 was 34 of them. So even though it was a disastrous year, not a lot of exploits. People were busy apparently. 2021, there was 106 0 days. 3 times the amount of 0 days came out. 2022 was 62 of them, and then 2023 was 97 of them. So we're seeing a lot more 0 days come out.
I'm curious how they're classifying that, because there were like 15,000 CVEs last year. And
so a lot of those CVEs end up not being 0 days though, right? So the CVE might be, there's this particular configuration issue that someone can view somebody else's, details in a backend database. And it's not necessarily a 0 days, just ends up being a configuration or a patching issue or something along those lines.
I bet this tracks with COVID, because if you think about it, 2020 was the first COVID year, right?
Yeah.
And then 2021 was the highest 0 day year. And then it kind of went down in 2022. Maybe some people are going back to, they're home. They're hacking. Maybe they lost their job. Yeah. So they're trying to supplement their income with a little crime.
That makes sense. That's what I would not do. So what's not? Yeah. No, this is what I'd not do.
Specifically chosen not
what
violence.
I'd not do. Dwayne would not do that. Okay.
This is what I'd not do.
Not.
So it's an interesting statistic when you look at 2019, 2020 around 30 0 days, and then 21, 22, and 23 in the high 60s to 106. And you ask yourself, is this because more people are focusing on 0 days? Is this because more software is being developed insecurely and more 0 days exist, right? Lots of people are pushing really hard to get into quantum, and that involves a lot of brand new technology. Lots of people are pushing really hard to get into artificial intelligence, which involves a lot of new technology, et cetera. So we're seeing vendors just race so fast now that security is now getting pushed to the wayside again. I don't know. We'll have to see whether these trends hold.
Okay. And the final story, my darlings. Darcula phishing service. I did not say Dracula, I said Darcula. It's kind of the, what is it? It's the dyslexic Dracula.
It is.
Phishing service targets iPhone use. Dyslexics of the world, untie! Okay. Darcula phishing service targets iPhone users via iMessage. Okay, tell us about this.
So, typically they don't use iMessage. They're dissing iMessage. They're using the more full service. And I think what did they say? 100,000 or 20,000 domains.
Yeah, 20,000
to do the phishing from. So this is a serious scale operation.
And we've seen where everybody gets those SMS the SMS phishing messages or smishing messages, where it's like, hey, this is DHL. Smishing? Oh yeah,
that's a word.
Hey, this is
yes, SMS phishing.
SMS phishing, as opposed to vishing, which is voice phishing.
Oh, come on.
As opposed to smishing. Listen, I could go on all day long.
What's smooshing? Is that twisting? Twitter or
yeah,
Xing?
exactly.
Xing?
Spear phishing. So we just like making up acronyms. But anyways,
Yeah, of
so
course.
in SMS phishing, so text messages, we've all gotten those.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your UPS. Something couldn't be delivered below.
Right.
Or click on a link. But the problem with that SMS message is a lot of the sort of normal rich text
Yeah.
things that you can do in an email message, you can't do in an SMS message, right? It's very light as a protocol. Yeah, you can send a link, you can send a picture, you can send text, but that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of formatting and stuff you can do in there. So what they've now started switching over to is just richer protocols.
Okay.
So we're talking Google messaging, iMessaging, where you can actually now insert a lot more rich content. And if you can insert rich content, it makes it much harder for you to then figure out, oh, this is actually a phishing example.
So that's RCS's rich communication services. So is that like being able to embed images and links and stuff, like little HTML messages?
Yeah, it's kind of like when email went from plain text to HTML.
Does it have JavaScript, though? That's the question.
Yeah. So, Darcula employs modern technologies like JavaScript, React, Docker,
Oh my God.
Harbor, enabling
What?
continuous updates and new features without clients actually needing to reinstall their phishing kit. So there's a lot of neat stuff in the back end.
So is this one of those things where I don't even have to open the message to get
No.
or do I have to click on the link?
Yeah, you do still have to click on the link. This isn't like a Pegasus 0-day no click, which would be even more devastating. This is still classic phishing in essence, where we're sending out a message. Somebody has to be conned into clicking into it. And when they click on it, the back end web service that answers them is awesome. It's looks exactly like DHL or UPS or whatever, has all the same JavaScript.
It's awesome.
It's
no
awesome.
one says
awesome.
that.
It's awesome.
You're the only one, Dwayne. Oh, this is so awesome.
It's awesome, really. So yeah, if you're looking to get into phishing, this is probably a better way to do it. It's just phishing as a service.
Wait a minute. Did you just give some free criminal career advice?
I did. Yeah.
All right. Roll the music.
It's criminal career advice.
We're trying to bring the services that make your hacking career easier with Darcula.
And on that note, or all those notes, let's call it a show.
Awesome.
You guys are around next week, right?
Yep.
All right.
Heck yeah.
I'm sure the world won't wait for us. It'll give us plenty of things to laugh about.
They always
Until
do.
then, we'll
Thanks.
see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.